Welcome back. Now, I'm delighted to introduce our special guest for a one-to-one interview. He is fresh from the success of the largely in-person ATM in Dubai last week. Issam Kazim is the CEO of the Dubai Corporation for Tourism and Commerce Marketing, the DCTCM, which was established in December 2013 as an affiliate, I believe, of Dubai's Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing. Now, having built and developed DCTM's team from the ground up, as well as its large network of international offices, Kazim leads all activities vis-à-vis the branding, promotion, and marketing of the Emirate of Dubai. Welcome, Issam. How are you?
I'm good, Rajan. How are you? It's always a pleasure to see you.
Likewise. And last week was a great success. There's already been talked about. But let me ask you first. Dubai has earned the reputation of being one of the safest global destinations after the outbreak of COVID-19. Tell me, how do you think it's earned this reputation?
I think, Rajan, you bring a very good point. I think we've always prided ourselves on being a safe destination, even prior to COVID, but for different reasons, of course. But with COVID obviously being the topic the hot topic right now that everyone's talking about, and the unfortunate cases around the world, of course, our heart goes out to all of those who were impacted by it. But also, hats off to the frontline workers across the world that have done a phenomenal job so far. And I think we've come a long way through it. We've learned a lot, gained a lot of experience, but we're still not over it yet. So I think it's very, very important to keep a gauge on that. Now, coming back to what Dubai has been able to do, I think I can safely say that Dubai was one of the first places to actually impose a full lockdown when things happened. And the government was very, very strict about it. There were strict curfews. In fact, I still remember very clearly that they had launched it immediately, an app where you would log in all the emergency needs. They were listed. So whether it's a hospital visit or pharmacy visit or so on and so forth, very, very specific items that you would have to select, put in your plate number, and also request a time slot for you to be out and about, get an approval on the app for you to be able to allocate that window and be in Dubai to do whatever you need to do and go back again. So it's extremely, extremely strict. While this was happening, there was a lot of citywide and countrywide sanitization program that was launched across every single thing, from streets to malls to shops to hotels and so on and so forth. And also in parallel, we were starting to look at all of the policies and procedures that we have in place, because yes, we want to stay safe, and that is absolutely the paramount importance. But at the same time, we knew that we cannot be in lockdown forever. So we wanted to also be prepared to what a opening up would look like under these new circumstances. So we always knew that that's going to happen sooner rather than later. So as soon as we had the lockdown really managed well, what we did was we started to open up in May. So from March lockdown to opening up in May for domestic tourism, and with extremely strict guidelines, far stricter than what was needed, but gave us a chance to really gauge how that is being practiced, how that is being put into play, and also to slowly ease up a little bit to find that perfect balance between being able to be out and about, but at the same time not at the cost of the public safety. So that balance was extremely important for us in order for us to be able to open up for the international market. But before doing so, we were making sure that we had campaigns running in parallel. We had all the communication going out globally of the efforts that we were putting into place, which in turn awarded us the Safe Destination stamp from the World Travel and Tourism Council, which was recognizing all the efforts that are being put into place. But again, we didn't want to rest on that. What we did was, from a government perspective, we brought in the private sector. We were engaged with them throughout the entire process. We had weekly sessions with them, virtual calls, every single department meeting with every single individual from the private sector to ensure that they are as aware as we are of the circumstances and situation as it's developing, but also putting out these new procedures across the entire sector with new policies. And whoever actually qualifies gets a Dubai Assured stamp, meaning anybody out and about going and visiting these entities and establishments, see the Dubai Assured stamp, gets that reassurance that these things have been certified. And it's not about getting it once, but making sure that we spot visit them every 2 weeks to ensure that they're still following those policies and procedures as well.
Wow, that's pretty comprehensive. I mean, and what that means is that basically you hope, I think it's probably true, that foreign visitors feel safe, but also so do the employees. That's equally crucial, right?
Absolutely. I think that's far more important than anything else, because for us, when the lockdown happened, we wanted to ensure that all the residents felt safe, every single person in town, as well as those who found themselves stuck in Dubai because they couldn't go back because the ports had closed. So we wanted to make sure that they felt safe as well. And also what the leadership did during that period of time was they extended the visa for free, because they didn't want these guys to panic and feel like, what do we do? Are we like illegal now? So they just told them, listen, extending it for free, feel comfortable. This is home for this period of time. And that also gave us a chance to roll out a lot of new programs, like the virtual working program, because we noticed a lot of people are working now from Dubai. So we said, you know what, go ahead and enjoy the infrastructure that Dubai has established over the years, and feel free to work from here. And of course, it so happened to be during the period of time where Dubai was perfect weather to be outdoors, and it was sunny, and it was beautiful, and they were avoiding the harsh winters elsewhere. So that fit in perfectly for them as well. So I think all of these things working together, getting the frontline workers comfortable and safe and feeling safe as well. And also when the vaccine rollout came out, we made sure that all of the frontline staff were dealing with so many different people on a daily basis, are amongst the first people to get vaccinated. So there was an amazing drive, even complete support from the government to ensure that we are taking these mobile platforms that people could actually taking it to them and being able to actually roll out the vaccination right at their doorstep, basically.
Now, a lot of people have been almost kind of spelling out the end of business tourism, of business travel, certainly. And I know that, you know, Dubai very strongly positions itself as a MICE centre. How much do you think there is a positive future for business travel and business conferences in Dubai?
Look, I think it's safe to say that we were one of those who are also thinking that, you know, the future might become virtual to a certain degree, and, you know, that thinking about future and what it holds and how it's going to change with VR and so on and so forth. But I think it's safe to say again that COVID gave us a real life example of what that looks like. Yes, it makes meeting people a lot more convenient, so you don't have to have phone calls or wait for the personal meeting. So a lot more efficiency across the digital platforms. However, one thing is for sure, that virtual will never replace the in-person contact. And if anything, it was very, very apparent in the ATM that you mentioned earlier, that if it was possible, and if the safety regulations weren't there, everyone would be hugging, because they couldn't wait to meet in person, to actually be there and have those conversations face to face. And the ones who couldn't make it, yes, we had a chance to connect with them virtually. So I think that hybrid model will be the future, but definitely the in-person meetings, conferences, exhibitions are here to stay.
I think the hybrid concept seems to be the in term, doesn't it? I mean, it seems to apply to, for instance, and we'll talk about this soon, about hotels of the future. It seems to apply to business trips as well, where there'll be a hybrid of personal, leisure, perhaps, and business, and for a longer time. That seems to be definitely a trend that's come out of COVID.
But not as a replacement, Rajan. And I think it's almost like me telling my wife and kids that, you know what, I'm going to put up a destination on screen and that's your vacation. I'm pretty sure that's not going to go down very well. So it'll be the same for business events as well.
Yeah, it incorporates travel as well, definitely. Tell me this. I know that the visitors to Dubai fell by more than 65% last year, despite you keeping your borders open since last July. What level are we at now?
If you look at when we first opened up in July, so July numbers, we saw about 40,000, right? I mean, if I just quickly go back to the strategy was very clear. 2012, we had 10 million visitors, international visitors. We were number 7 globally. Obviously, in true Dubai spirit, we always try to aim at that number 1 position, right? Always aim for the highest that we can achieve. And we saw a beautiful growth year on year, and we've had record numbers literally every single year up until 2019. And 2019, we had 16.73 million visitors from around the world that had visited Dubai. Those numbers in terms of the top 10, top 20 markets kept on changing because we had implemented an amazing diversified market approach, which really lent itself perfectly to achieve those numbers. We even started January, February of 2020 with record numbers. There was 4.2% growth for that period of time. So everything that we had done was really working well. And then March lockdown happened, right? So July, So again, let me go back. March to July, we didn't sit quiet. We had campaigns that were running. What we did was, in the first instance, we started a campaign called Till We Meet Again. And the whole objective of this campaign was purely and simply to say, we understand where you are, because we could sense from online, from the people that engage on our platforms, that there was this sense of anxiety, not knowing what's going to happen, right? That sense of unknown, that fear of, is this going to be the future, right? And they don't know when it's going to end. So we sent them beautiful images of Dubai, empty as well. So we're saying, as you're missing traveling, we miss you guys as well, and showing them that we're hand in hand. We're going through this all together. And we saw that it really landed really well with the target audience, and they started to engage with it very well, and they appreciated the message that was coming across, and the sceneries and so on and so forth. And as that anxiety started to change into frustration, and people were bored of sitting behind those four walls and wanted to just explore what's beyond them once things open up, we started to send them throwback messages of things happening in Dubai, and showing them memories of, look, these are the things that you used to enjoy in Dubai, and we can't wait, right? And we called that campaign Ready When You Are. And we also had a bit of a tongue-in-cheek approach to it. So we show people practicing putting in their living room. And then while we in Dubai are perfectly manicuring the putting greens, telling them that we're ready when you are as well. So that as well had a very nice feedback, and people started to share their ready when you are messages with us. So that really kept on going well until the Live Your Story campaign, which we're going through now. So July happened, we opened up, we had 40,000 visitors at that point in time. And if you compare that to March of 2021, we've had over 450,000 visitors for March. So that's over tenfold increase. It's not where we were in 2019, not where we would have liked to be if the situation was different, but it is definitely a very welcome a place to be given the current circumstances. I think everyone asks, so what does that mean for the rest of the year, and how is that going to look? It's very difficult to say, because today markets are open, some might close and others might open up again. So we are literally leveraging the agility that we have developed over the years with our diversified marketing approach. And we are ready with campaigns and assets and messaging. And literally, as the market shuts down, we tone down. We don't shut it out. We tone down the messaging there. And as soon as the market opens up, we immediately go full force there as well, aligned with all of the parties. So you have the airlines, you have the hotels, all the industry over here as well are very well engaged with everything that we're doing. And they're also aligned with their packages and offers to be able to go into these markets as soon as they open up as well.
Sadly, as Eddie was saying with his panel, time is running short, which is a real shame. There's so much more I can ask you, but I do just need to quickly throw ahead to Expo, which is happening later this year. Now, this is a big deal. What are you hoping out of this? I mean, can we possibly get back to normal figures then during Expo time?
I think, look, to be honest, I think the numbers will be different, right? And we have to be realistic about that. We all hope that it goes back to realistic numbers, but there's so many factors at play here. You have the market situation. You also have the carrier situation as well. So you have the local carriers where, we work very closely with, but as Dubai has always been an open skies destination, we work very closely with the Dubai airports, and we work with all of the key source markets for us, and working with local carriers to invite and bring in people to Dubai as well. And when the case offers itself, we're ready to work with charters as well. So we are ready. The appetite is there, but it all depends right now on the developments that are happening across all of the world. So for us, what we're going to say is we're working with Expo, with all the plans that they have put in place, aligned with the plans that we have in place. We're working with the trade across all of the markets that are there. We're talking about 190 plus markets participating in Expo, being the largest pavilion participation by countries from any Expo in the past. The programming as well is 6 months long, starting from the beginning of October 2021 all the way through to the end of March 2022. And they're promising more than one event a day, every single day for 6 months. So it's going to be jam-packed with business events, festivities, concerts, opera, so on and so forth. So it's going to have something for everyone. So from our side, we're definitely going to be pushing and knocking on every single door, making sure that it's as easy as possible for people to access Dubai. But the numbers will all be reliant on things that are unfortunately out of our control.
Well, with you at the helm, Issam, I've got absolutely no doubts that it will be as good as it can possibly get. So thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
me.
Rajan.
I really appreciate it. And I hope I can come over as well. And
I hope so too.
all that. Fantastic. Now, don't go away, because in a couple of minutes, we're going to be looking at hotels of the future, the new normal after we've experienced what we've experienced, what will happen in that sector. So don't go away.